Here, we'll call the meeting to order and do a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
From a roll call standpoint, the board has signed in. We have, I'll go around, we have Mike, we have Lou, we have Richard, and Jim. And myself. I have a public comment, even though they're not here, and we'll address that. It's Alan Delo made a comment about the boardwalk and the mold on the boardwalk. We already had a comment about the pine needles on the boardwalk. There's a comment about that, and the real comment was that the benches up there at the, at the thing where the benches are, there's mold on them. And Bob had mentioned in the note that he thought it might be because of the fact that it's, the pressure treated boards that used to be there would maybe keep the mold from growing. And now we have that composite, which probably is more susceptible to growing mold. Because we've never had a mold problem before since I've been here, and that's 18 years, but we do. So we'll have to address that. I don't know if when we go out there to blow the pine needles, we maybe do both. Okay, I don't know what type of equipment you guys have from a portable standpoint. Power washer.
Yes, and for the record, Paul Flores, Public Works Director, Gateway Services. So we're typically out there once a week blowing the pine needles. Yes, so, and I just kind of show because there was an email over the weekend regarding pine needles. So this is Friday morning, and I think there's maybe a timing issue where residents like to take a walk early in the morning, and by the time our maintenance crew go out there, it's after their time or after their walk. So that's the way it looked Friday morning, and then after we cleaned it, this is the after. So we are very active once a week. The mold kind of caught me a little bit by surprise, given that it is a composite material.
Yeah.
And we haven't had any rain in quite a while, with the exception of yesterday and today. But that's something we'll address as a team.
Yeah, it's like something that can be put on to prevent mold.
Yes.
Yeah, and I know part of the problem will also be you can't use chemicals. You usually would use something that prevent that, but since it's the preserve area, they don't. I know we've had a problem in the past of not being able to use chemicals to do something like that.
And you're absolutely right, Chairman, because the challenge is we're not allowed to use any gas-powered equipment out there, like a pressure washer. And to your point, we shouldn't be using any sort of harsh chemicals in the preserve.
Okay.
How do you clean it?
Just scrub it.
Yeah, it's just
The schedule of when people will be walking, so we could accommodate.
Yeah.
We'll get out there early.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is to approve the minutes for two meetings. The one is the September 10th and the other is October 13th. The minutes were in the agenda posted with the package. I take this from Carol, from how she handles the Board of Supervisors. Let's have a motion to approve both minutes. Unless there's, can I have a motion to do that?
Or a motion. I looked at the minutes and they seemed accurate to me.
Okay, so any
I'll
other
make the
comment? Yeah, you first. And
Jim's the first.
And Louis second. Vote, approve minutes.
Aye.
That's 5-0. Okay, and I'll sign them later. There's the next thing is the financials. I think this is both of them there, Paul, or is it, this is just from last year?
This is October.
That's from last year.
Yeah, this is the
This is-
cumulative year.
yeah.
Yes, this is cumulative
Those are
year.
still not completely audited, or are they?
My last
I
understanding.
don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I think Laura was still working on that.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
they haven't changed since the last few months.
That won't happen till February.
Right.
Okay. And let's see what else here. We have two things under items for discussion.
But we don't have October or November.
No,
No, well, this is September final. See,
Well, yeah,
there
but
is
that's
no
last year.
current stuff in the packet. Laura didn't add current data to this packet.
Oh.
Okay?
no, she's, yes, there's a little, yes.
There's better data. There's better data than this.
Okay.
This is.
Come on,
from-
Bob, you're listening, Laura.
Okay,
Under the ball.
under items for discussion, there's two things on the agenda here. One is, we all know Pete, has, left, retired, and, Odette and Harold here, put in his application, Harold Dagoff, to be a new core member. It's correct, I mean, saying core, I should call it board, so we'll call it core member. Can I have them? And that is the only, application we have. So we have
One
one.
could have gone without saying that.
Yeah, multiple
I know.
applications.
Well, the thing is,
Sorry, Harold. He ain't much, but he's all we got.
I guess we don't have a choice.
I don't know if we need a discussion. Harold has been with us for quite a while, and he's been our lead in the conservation area for quite a long period. It's kind of a motion to approve.
Your motion to approve?
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, vote?
Aye.
5-0.
5-0, thank you.
Okay.
Harold. Wow, that only happens in Chicago.
The other thing on, the last meeting, we all had a copy, I believe. And after the meeting, Mike distributed from Stephanie for the Gateway, I'll call it pond standard, the maintenance standard. And the board members got a copy of that after making changes that Mike led from the board standpoint and those changes have been incorporated in there.
And
Mike,
approved?
and you approved. Well, now it is just that we approve this to go make a recommendation to approve the standards. I see I went through it. I made some minor changes. There was nothing major to make in there. Can I have a motion to approve that? What, you want to say something?
Discussion.
Yeah, can,
Okay.
Chairman, if you don't mind, can we have Stephanie just give a little summary?
Right.
Okay,
Just for everyone's education, plus also to put into the record.
I'm Stephanie McLean, Stormwater Specialist, Gateway Services. Yeah, so you kind of saw the whole thing last meeting, but we made some few minor edits just that reflects how you guys run things over here. But the biggest things, I kind of put together a little executive summary of any changes that you would see and we would see on the Gateway side, incorporating both standards together. So we expanded to include some sections on fish stocking and wildlife management, what we do in those situations, hurricane preparedness, and then a lot of enforcement policies. So we have an NPDES permit and South Florida Water Management District. So we're trying to include that in here so we understand where a lot of these rules and regulations are coming from. So if you look through that, you can see it. We included some history and purpose. So if someone from the public reads this manual, they understand where this is coming from both sides. Again, regulatory responsibility. We included how you guys run the contracts at Pelican Preserve, but most of our contracts are pretty black and white, similar to ours. When we did this last bid for your ponds and wetlands and aeration, we mimicked them very similarly. So it's reflected now in the pond standards. And then the biggest thing would be the littorals and aquatic plants. So we specified that littoral band, we want that between 10 to 12 feet. That's kind of what you guys had. I think you had 8 to 12 originally. Removal, there's a request form, a littoral request form. So if someone wants their littorals removed, they have to fill it out. It gets submitted to Gateway. It's on the Gateway site. There's a link to it. I will have you guys look at it on the Pelican side, so you guys will approve it if you see fit. And then same for Gateway side. And then the big thing is in cases where littoral vegetation is not specifically required. So if the DO doesn't say it needs littorals, if the conditions are favorable and the budget allows, we will plant littorals in those areas. So that's specified now. On Gateway side, we haven't specified that in the past. I know you guys love your littorals, but that's a big change for us over here. And then again, algae treatment, if it's above 10%, they need treatment, stuff like that. And then other than that, yeah, water quality, NPDES permit, we test for certain things. You guys do your own testing on your side, which is great because you get to see the other ponds and what they look like. But we test the flowway, so that's over in Pelican as well. So we have that included. And I can always provide those things for you guys if you ever want to see those. And then fish stocking, you guys stock yearly. We do as well. So I put that in, and then fishing policy is also included in this as well. And we were kind of talking about that of you have to be on a allowable area to fish, and you can't go through people's property, stuff like that. It's pretty simple. Yeah. And then again, control structures and hurricane preparedness, what we do when we open the weirs, things like that. So yeah, it's pretty black and white, nothing crazy changes, but now you guys in Pelican will be operating under the same way that we do. So if there's ever questions, we'll all refer to this manual.
Yeah, we used to have, Bob Gephardt, we used to have a much tighter standard in Pelican than Gateway had. The Gateway, because the board asked it, was the only official document. Ours was kind of unofficial. The effort that we're going through today is to make it uniform for one Gateway. With respect to,
Last week on this account.
sorry,
Is there a question?
so with respect to the fish stocking, we don't put fish in any pond where the fish can float away. In other words, we have containment for them. I don't know that Gateway has that aspect, but you might want to consider that. You know, if you're going to put them in, they all go downstream and out.
Yeah, in the standards, the way it's worded is they're stocked based on staff recommendations. So if Pelican does it that way, that's your recommendation on where to stock them. Same for us over here.
So if you're going to spend money, you don't want to spend them.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we have the 5 fish gates. We have a certain number of fish gates to keep them going into the
There's a
flow.
couple in
I think there's,
basin 2 and then there's a couple in basin
I
6.
think it's 4 or 5 that we have to keep them going out to the flowways.
Yeah, so they don't,
within. We also have some additional policies as to when we stock
Yeah.
and how we stock, because we've had requests before from residents who want their pond stocked. However, their pond is not open to fishing. So we've instituted a policy that as we stock, the first places to be stocked provide public fishing areas. So that, and then the other thing we need to keep in mind is that with the abundance of non-native invasive species like the Mayan cichlids, we have to make sure that we're not stocking fish too small because they just won't survive. Cichlids,
they'll eat them.
and they're gone. And the cichlids are the last to spawn. So once they spawn, they tend to eat their own, and the other fish are a
And
little
for
bit
me and
bigger.
Stephanie, we've had a fishing club in Pelican before, or almost before Bob's group. We worked hand in glove
Yep.
to complement each other.
Yeah.
The other aspect that I have to mention is with littorals. It's not an issue in our community. Our people are used to it. It's going to be an issue at Gateway because there's people over there that just want to see grass and water. And there's nothing wrong with that, except that by not having the grasses, you're very vulnerable to erosion and repair. This is an effort to standardize it through our community to stop wasting money. So they've spent over $21 million as of last budget year on pond bank repairs, and they're only maybe halfway there. So this will be a bit controversial. I hope it isn't, but it might be.
The only other question I would have is, do you plan on communicating about the littoral removal form in general. I would recommend that you just let that sleeping dog lie, because the minute you let people know that there's a form to get their littorals
Yeah.
removed.
Yeah.
If they read the,
You know,
if they
We-
are
we
so
involve-
disposed to read that document and see it,
Are.
then they can,
Yeah.
then
And
they'll
it's
see
not,
it.
not complete removal, it's a portion. of it.
Right, but I mean, still, I mean,
Yes.
that's that sleeping dog that we want to
Yeah.
let.
The probability of someone reading this document. No.
Thanks.
About to say this.
You have to have it.
Right. But again, it will be referred to us for review and approval or disapproval
Yes.
based on the
Yes,
reasoning or the proximity. I can't have four neighbors in a row who all of a sudden
Right.
find
Yep.
fishing and they all want to fish off their back. That, so it won't just be happening and we'll be finding out afterward.
And most of them know that I'm the first point of contact, in which case I can tell them, there's a form, here's where you get it, fill it out.
And then you would review it, you go out, look at the area. If there's like washouts already happening, that's a no for us. We want to keep those things.
That's a no for us.
I don't think anything that's in this document has changed from the way that we operate in Pelican. That we maybe have a little more stringent on some of these areas than might be in that document, because you could do more than that. But
Yeah.
as far as the document itself, there's nothing in there that says we have to do something that we aren't already doing.
I
So
think it's just formalizing the process.
It-
This should be board approved.
yeah, because what we operate on today is not an approved standard in Pelican. And this is will be an approved standard.
And that's a minimum standard,
Yes.
which means that we reserve the right to say, that's the minimum, but we've moved it here.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's all I have to say. You have any more questions?
we have a motion. You want to give the motion?
I move that we approve these standards.
Okay,
I'll second that.
vote,
Aye.
5-0.
And this will go to P-PAC for the review and approval.
Thursday.
Yeah, on Thursday.
Now, I believe that's 5-0. I think Harold's vote will not
Provisional.
count until next
That's,
time.
that's
For the
correct.
board.
Till the P-PAC. I
P-PAC
don't
and
think
the
it goes to the board, the
Okay.
subcommittees. Correct?
Just to be,
Just the P-PAC, because it's their subcommittee
because these are subcommittees of.
of
Mhm,
P-PAC.
right.
So which is one of the reasons I wanted this meeting now, to be able to get Harold approved, because next in January, Jim will be coming forward with Pond 43 restoration. I think that was January 7th. I could be, that is when that will be.
January 7th is the next meeting.
That's
Yes.
the next meeting, and it's to do a recommendation
Mhm.
for how we proceed with the vendor to P-PAC, then to the Board of Supervisors. I think it's all aligned to go from here to there, and then would that be the second Board of Supervisor meeting in January to be able to approve that? Contract.
Next up is the bids are being opened on the 17th.
Right.
So in just over a week.
Right.
So that'll be interesting.
Mhm.
Okay. And let's see. I just included in the document, so everyone has, this is the ponds update for what would that have been for November? This would have been the ponds update that I give to PPAC each month. I figured I'd just include it so that it's in the document and the agenda that we do monthly. You can put it up there, just, there isn't that much that we haven't already discussed.
In what regards, I'm sorry.
The P-PAC ponds update, that one right there.
This is the one you give Peggy and give people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
there, the version. Okay. Anyone that wants to see, is that it there?
Yes, this is it.
Okay. We completed the restoration there on CA08. That's the one by the pump station that had to be done because of some violations we had. I don't know if you call them violations or warnings. I don't know.
Non-compliant.
Non-compliant.
Yes.
They weren't violations, financial violations yet. We had a backflow valve out front entryway that had broke, that was replaced. We also had a circuit breaker in the main area. We had a washout on pond 50 and we just had one, what was that?
36.
On 36. Let's be honest, that's the third one we had, I think, since that pond was restored. As I told Laura, it's pay me now or pay me later with the a selection process.
I did walk 36 the other day when I found that, because I was looking at the
Right.
ones that we previously repaired. I just wanted to make sure that if now that I've had to repair some washouts, that it's not a continuing degradation that would be showing that I have a bigger problem. And the ones that had been repaired are all holding up well, no signs of further washout. So I'm hoping that the latest one, which was 3 gullies, will also withstand time.
And most of the issues were when you do these things, a lot of repairs are under the water. You don't see them all. And I believe the ones we've seen so far have been, the coconut mesh hasn't been, let's just say, installed properly. Which caused, and the other thing is someone might say, well, why don't you get the vendor to do it? We're beyond the warranty
Yeah.
period was 1 year and we're beyond that.
And we don't want them on our property.
Yeah. I don't know if we want that in the minutes.
You just put it in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's about all we have, unless there's something else someone wants to bring up.
One general information, this is Bob. For those that don't know, we're still working on all of our easements and that we have, the actual legal document to do everything we do. It's been primarily focused on landscaping activities for the last 2.5 years. We are now getting to the point where our aeration equipment is all being checked by Ed. And we're down to, I think, the last one spot was Solaris. We get that done. While we are doing this, PPCA is looking at the same map from a landscaping perspective and others to upgrade their community. So there shouldn't be any place in the community you can look at and we don't know who's responsible for what. This has been a major undertaking and we're near the end. So.
I know I've worked with Mark on
Yeah,
some tree trimmings that were around the ponds, on public areas that the Superior mentioned that they were having a problem getting around and he was able to mention that they did just sign a contract. And so these areas are all being reviewed and addressed. So that was good.
Yeah, I'm very comfortable with what PPAC is responsible for. The way that we did this in the beginning, just a little background, is we went to Ameriscape and we walked the entire community and said, what are you doing on our behalf? And they told us. And based on that, then we went to Tony and said, should we be paying for this? In some cases, yes, some cases, no. So those where we didn't have the authority to do it, we got the legal authority. We went to the homeowners or the HOAs or whatever. So we are finished with our portion of that. But having said that, there are other areas in the community that historically have been paid for by PPCA. And I won't speak to them. They'll do whatever they want to do. But they're now investigating their individual areas. And there's some areas of disagreement. Because the individual HOAs that have not been paying for things and they're used to PPCA paying, they don't want to sign up for that. They want things to stay the way they are. So I'll just comment that what's going on. We are as clean as we can be legally.
I was just going to say that Ed and the security group have done a great job, I think, with the light. They're progressing quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Florida, what?
Don't talk too soon.
What? It's something I don't know.
They're doing a bang up job. They really are.
Yes.
Well, So far, how about that? I think it's, I call them,
How well it's going.
I call them the Chinaman hats, right? And it looks like more of the illumination will go down versus the way it was before, half went up and half went down.
So far, we haven't really had too many issues or complaints, knock on wood. The thing that scares me, I think, is once we get all the oak trees have never really been trimmed appropriately for street lighting. So they've always blocked the lights, but once we get all the lights up, then we'll go through and trim those appropriately, and that's probably where we'll get a few complaints, but.
Yeah, the poles are considerably higher.
Yeah, they are higher.
But they sure look.
Especially a lot of,
They're doing fantastic
Right.
job
Yeah.
of cleaning up.
Yeah,
they work. Absolutely. You can't even hardly tell they've been there.
Exactly.
it's hard, it's all hand dug. I mean, I'm amazed that, they're out
Now
there.
They're doing more boring now.
Right.
They're gonna
I'm
start-
gonna say, I saw a trencher out there on the way
Yeah.
here today.
Yeah. So,
And
Chairman,
the sequence is install the lights, mill and grind, and then stripe. For
Yes.
anyone that didn't know, we're not gonna mill and grind and stripe before we do that.
I do want to
again. There is some logic to this, safety and security.
They're gonna repave?
Yes, we're gonna repave the portion from tree line to the four-way stop sign this year, 26. And then they'll do the next third and then.
okay, thank you, Chairman. I do have a few updates to share with the subcommittee. I think we talked just briefly about the FPL streetlights. I do agree, things are moving very smoothly, no major issues, knock on wood. That's going well. Jim touched upon Pond 43, so the bids are due on the 17th. The goal is to get it to the subcommittee on January 7th and to the BOS, the board, on the 15th of January to get that approved. The next thing I wanted to talk about, and just want to bring it to the attention to the subcommittee, I'm not sure if there's a standard within the community, but what I did notice while I was dealing with a resident complaint about drainage, it's a downspouts that are coming from the rooftop gutter system and where they terminate. This is the front yard, and the downspout comes from the rooftop, and it's draining right next to this telecommunication box here. I'm not sure if that's something that is managed or ever been discussed with residents as far as when they do any sort of work with gutter systems and downspouts, where they should terminate, because this to me, it seems like a really bad location. And it may not be necessarily a ponds issue, because this is a front yard, but I'm not sure if this is also occurring in the backyards as well. So just wanted to bring that. Yes, you can barely see it, but there is a grate there. You see it? Yes, so it's not even a bubbler box. It's really small.
Because actually, they're supposed to be trimmed out by your landscape companies, so
Right.
they remain
Yeah.
viable.
Right,
Uh,
so
Look good
it's,
to them, too.
yeah, you can see the screen right
I've
there.
been told it's a resident's obligation to keep those things
It-
clear.
It depends on the community.
Right, and then,
Well, in Prado, it's up to
Yeah.
the resident.
Yeah.
so the neighbor, the house right next to it, if you can see, it's just a little screen that it terminates. It's not a true bubbler box. Now, the resident said they were gonna address this issue, but just kind of wanted to bring it to everyone's attention if there's anything that.
Just so
can be
you
done.
know, I think that thing in the prior picture you had of that communication box,
Yes,
I believe that's the Comcast
You
communication.
know, we're
yes, that's Comcast, so, but
And they're all coming in. Well, most communities still have them, but they have authors, somehow they're working through.
Right.
There's a plan to remove all those boxes.
right,
You will
but
still
What I
have,
meant to say, Doug, was they have said that they will, but nothing has started, nothing has been noticed.
Right.
And people that are calling to find out when theirs is going to be taken out there's no response.
Yeah. They aren't that difficult to take out. I've done a few
you know,
myself.
there is a
But
point, there's also,
I'm just saying, don't tell people that they're
right, it's,
coming out because nothing has started, nothing. absolutely
I said,
nothing.
there's a plan.
Right.
It's not started execution on the plan.
but again,
People have been told it will happen.
Yeah, I heard it. I don't know what the
But
foundation.
nothing other than that.
Right.
but again, that's only the cable. You also have CenturyLink pedestals, which are almost identical to this, that are in
Well-
front of houses, which
right.
are remain.
And they did that on their own, the homeowner, right? CenturyLink wasn't around, right? It was,
So CenturyLink built it when they built the community.
oh, is that
So-
before Comcast?
Well, it was probably before Comcast was offering dial tone.
Okay.
So that people had, you know, landlines, they had it from CenturyLink. And I guess you can still have it from them. Their facilities are still in the community, but those boxes will be remaining.
So anyway, I just wanted to bring, because it should not terminate right next to any sort of like utility infrastructure. Just like I said, I'm just trying to share with the subcommittee.
Best practices.
Yes, yes. And then the next item is just an update on our staff gauges project. So we were needing 9 benchmarks to put that project out to bid. Those 9 have been completed, so we are working on finalizing the bid specifications. So we try to get that out. Stephanie, would you like to add anything to that?
Not much. We're reviewing all the benchmark locations with the surveyor who came out and already did it in November. But the whole bid package is already set up, and then that'll go out probably next year.
Yep, perfect. And then the last thing, which again is not related to the ponds matters, but it's something within the community. So we did replace the arm operators at the guardhouse for the residents entrance and everything. Well, last week we had 3 strikes
Right.
against the arms. And so as residents of Pelican, if you could just share with your neighbors and the community that not to tailgate any vehicle in front of you and to try to slow down. Those arm operators are not meant to be like just an auto drive. You do need to slow down so that system recognize you and then the arms will raise. But to have 3 strikes, and it is causing some damage where we're under warranty for like the first 12 months. Well, these are non-warranty repairs that we're having to do. So it is an expense. So this is something I'll bring to the safety and security
For the
subcommittee.
individuals that are hitting them, pay?
Well, we have record. We are working well with Wiser. They are doing incident reports. We do have record of the resident that are striking the arms and, you know, causing the damage. So that's
My
some,
understanding that they are required to pay for it. You
Yeah.
strike the
So-
arm, you're-
Sure hope so.
you're required to
right.
pay.
So, yeah, that's something that I'll be pursuing, but I just kind of want to share, just slow down, kind of let your
Good luck
neighbors
with that.
know.
Oh, you know, they're in such a hurry, you know.
If
They don't stop at stop signs and go.
Stop for a second, let the damn thing
Well,
work.
do you find that other communities in Gateway have the same issue, or is this something that happens more frequently? I wonder if there's a timing issue or something that we have different than other communities with.
This is the
Yeah.
only guardhouse that we manage.
Okay.
But that may be something that with KW, because they manage the actual access from the car itself. So maybe there's some configuration or some improvements that could be made to that. But we get the signal from KW's system, you know, your access, your residence access system. So that's what tells the arm to raise and go down. So
And that's on video recorded, right?
yes, but like I said, the Wiser is really good. They're doing incident reports, so we do know the residents that are actually causing the damage.
And the timing, if they're tailgating, the timing wouldn't be an issue.
And then they gotta back up because they're,
But the new boxes look very good.
Yes.
iron gates would help this problem a lot.
We're trying.
My brother-in-law has these huge iron gates. They gotta weigh a couple tons each.
But people tailgate
Can you imagine though, these people waiting for that to open and close?
No.
No way.
Some major damage to
So
your.
to my own knowledge, how much does a gate cost?
I think they were like 7,000 a piece. Yes, but it's actually the arm and the LED lights that I know are very important for residents. They're breakaway, which is the good thing that we did specify on the replacements, on the new ones, that they're easily, if they get hit by a car, they just come apart easily. And they're easily to be, you know, to be put back as well. But it's just now it's starting causing damage to the wiring and to the lighting.
You asking the president to pay $7,000?
No, well, whatever expense any expenses that are incurred will go back to the resident if they cause the damage. So I just kind of wanted to share that with the subcommittee.
They flag a vehicle doing about 70 miles an hour.
down Pelican Reserve Boulevard. Rich Glover has those speaking. Yep. 20 miles. We have some.
And I've often asked the question, what, if any, authority within the community do we have to police that, other than bringing
That's
the
it.
police in?
Yeah.
That's it.
And we
And then
have
the residents complain, why are the police in here? Well,
We-
because you want to slow down and stop at the stop sign.
3 sets of law enforcement agencies that the safety group is drawing upon. We have City of Fort Myers, Lee County, and now Fish and Wildlife.
Oh,
Fish and Wildlife will be one of the other ones.
What do they do?
They have law enforcement powers.
Really? They can issue tickets?
They can issue.
And the reason that we're going to them is they'll issue the tickets more than the other 2 agencies, because the officers don't want to have to go to court. So if you give somebody a ticket, then they got to go to court. So they're always
Okay.
warning people. Fish and Wildlife, they don't have that problem.
They'll go to court.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Chairman, that's all I have. Again, I know it's not pond related, but as a community, I just wanted to share some updates.
That's good.
Thank you.
Good. Is there anything else? Are we ready to adjourn? Okay.
Just one last thing. I did send out an email to the people that I have on the ponds group, just, approaching the end of 2025, thanking all the volunteers. We do have a lot of volunteers that do various tasks, whether it's Harold with the conservation area, the bubblers, the GIS system.
Michelle, the water.
Michelle and her team with the water quality testing, and then all of the pond inspectors. So there's a lot of people that volunteer a lot of time and effort. We have a new ticketing system. We haven't had very many tickets, which is a nice thing, but it's working well. I like the notifications from it. We do have 2 other people who have expressed interest in helping out, and I told them, I reached out to both of them and says, when we do have some tasks or an opening, I will reach back out to them, but I don't want to,
Very good.
preemptively take something away from somebody else. We're trying to have where people feel valued, that what they're doing actually makes a difference in the community and that it is appreciated. So that's all I have to say.
if I could tag team onto that, and I know we discussed this probably 6 months ago, but when I was out, excuse me, walking the pond, I did have a homeowner ask who I was, why are you on my, and I know we talked about maybe if we have some discretionary funds, just a simple mesh, the green mesh vest with a thing on the back that says ponds, so that they know when they see you. Usually when they see somebody walking around a pond and they're wearing a vest, they figure you're a worker. Well, at least it'll keep the volunteers from getting like, why are you on my property?
Harassed, yeah.
I have liked it when I've looked, when people come out, usually it's 99% is a very good interaction. You get to explain what you're doing and the value of littorals. Inevitably, if there's a conflict, it's because somebody doesn't want those weeds that aren't trimmed.
Right.
And it provides the opportunity to share, the value of it and what it potentially saves us as a community. So
We can, I'll look at what it costs to get some yellow vest or something. We can,
or a hat. Or
Well,
just
Something
to
so they know
identify.
you're official.
yeah, but, I'll look at the difference between just getting a vest versus putting the ponds. Once you do any custom printing, you're gonna probably double or triple the cost. Where
Don't make them cheap, make them good.
That's right. Come on, give us
We
some
got Pelican steel.
we can add it to the standards. We already approved.
Down off of Metro Parkway called My Turtle Shirts.
Yeah.
I used them for our lawn bowling club. They made shirts for us. I mean, they weren't shirts, nice shirts for like $28.
Oh,
And they weren't screen printed. They were sublimated. So they last a good long
Don't go
time.
make
They
his
make
website.
banners and stuff, so they're local.
You have any-
Rod,
Yeah.
On your next report to PPAC, could you include some of the volunteer efforts that
Yeah.
people are doing? Because I think they should know about the numbers of people
Right.
in Pelican that are also helping in their own way.
Other than the court groups,
We're
right?
working with I can include that, but we're working with Patricia to send out this document to everyone. Okay, because I think it gives us a lot of positive, if you read his report that he does every year, by
Yeah,
the way.
very
He
nice.
does a recap. I call it a recap report you used to do with your customer. Here's all the things I do for you. He does a great job. He's a good documenter.
At least include that to PPAC also.
Okay, I will.
Your next.
This morning, I had somebody on the street ask me what I was doing. I had no idea that we just.
Was a pleasant
Almost
conversation.
20 years. That's been going on for
I
12.
always like it when you're able to talk to a resident like that.
Yeah.
You actually give your gospel pitch about how we operate.
And while sometimes you wonder, where they've been, that they, but a lot of people do not read any emails or
Right.
anything
Right.
on a
Absolutely.
website. And
why I meant.
we have a lot of new people. We will, this is going to be a continuing thing now, it will always be
Yeah.
more people coming in all of our neighborhoods now that we're a mature community. And you'll have people who just, whether it's if they go to the new residents
Circle.
meeting,
Orientation.
orientation and that, and again, you don't want to turn around and offer up people to attend so many functions that it's like, geez, and it's now impacting my golf game or my pickleball or lawn bowling. This is that's why we came. This is it's finding a balance of getting the information out to people so they understand.
But interestingly enough, on the water sample portion only, when that started, we were very concerned that the dump was going to contaminate us.
Right.
That was a major concern 20 years ago. It's been surprising.
And it never has, right?
Never, not one time.
Isn't that the pond closest to
Right.
the dump?
That's one of the sites, yeah.
Monitor, we added that one.
Please, Mount Trashmore.
Yeah.
Not trash.
But anyway, that's a good.
Oh, yeah, I live next to the dump.
Lou, do you have anything?
That's a nice marketing piece.
Do
Do
you have anything?
With regards to that last comment, with this new Pelican Reserve Circle, Facebook Circle
Yeah.
thing, do we have a ponds communication there?
Created, that's something.
Is there a way to communicate on that?
You could.
Yeah, you can create a
You know,
page for ponds.
We could create a fund. Now, it becomes a slippery slope because do we want to have it where if somebody posts on there that we respond to it? Like if on Facebook, people will
No, I'm
post
just
stuff and
wondering
I
if it
absolutely
can be
refuse.
informational only.
Right, just posting.
This is the official post from the ponds committee. This is what's happening. This is what we do. And just make it so you can't post on it.
Well, I'll talk to Becky about that.
I don't know. I don't use Circle.
I try to do that with Karina where I'll post applicable stuff, but I don't want to be engaging
Yeah,
with the same people all the time.
yeah, and we know who they are, don't we?
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
45 minutes, that's a record.
Yeah, but we have a few things that we have to cover.